I'm assuming you're referring to $1 million in revenue.
$1 million in credits. $1
million clients.
I just want to remember the disclaimer that was mentioned early on. Joking aside, though, of course, we all know that it takes a lot of hard work to get to that first million. Plus 90 pounds in weight. It's not an easy thing to get to that first million, especially if you're brown, you're Filipina, you're disadvantaged in so many different ways. I, for one, of course, we all had an accent. I work on it so that it doesn't come out, like we all do, right? But during a sentence or so, it comes out, so you might as well get it out. But like what you're saying, when I started with the county hospitals. And San Francisco, for those of you who don't know San Francisco, actually has a preference for women who are, of course, who are disadvantaged in a way because they're a minority. And you go through a bidding process in procuring any contract. A lot of times you go through a bidding process. You submit a bid, of course. In a level playing field where quality is never an issue, I think San Francisco and the other neighboring counties in the Bay Area, like San Mateo County and Alameda County, gave a preference to people of my color. People of my color. That was an edge, but that's not a guarantee. You still have to work hard. You still have to show you have quality of service. And of course, you have to show that in my case, at least, I had a pipeline of nurses. We're talking resources here. We're talking human resources. We're talking not just financial resources, but also the ability to bring in where they're short at. You are filling an unfilled need, so to speak. And in the case where hospitals are always short of nurses, they want to be able to acquire a contract where there is almost a guarantee that you have nurses in your pipeline. Well, being a Filipina, they probably know, and they were just assuming this, that I had hundreds of nurses in my pipeline when all they had at that time was just me and 2 others. You know, I would answer the phone. It was a 24-hour business. I started this when I was nursing my baby, at that time Cheryl. So you can just imagine, Cheryl was 25 years old. My business is 25 years old. I was working all my life, double shifts. I don't know of any nurse who hasn't worked double shifts. But that's actually the reason, one of the reasons why they prefer Filipino nurses is because not only are they hardworking, they're very compassionate. They will never leave the hospital unless the work is done. Forget about leaving at 7 o'clock in the morning when your shift is at 11 to 7. You leave at 9 or 10 whenever the work is done. So that was an edge, because they knew I was Filipino. I had a pipeline of nurses, when in fact the person who was answering the phone and they call for nurses at 2 o'clock in the morning is the same person that they'll see in the morning working. So that's how I started. I would call, they would call me. I didn't have an office. My office was in my bedroom. I was nursing my baby. And of course, that was even before the baby was born. I already had started this business because I was at home bored. I was so used to working 2 hospitals, 2 shifts, almost, sometimes 3 shifts. And the fact that I'm all of a sudden on maternity leave was boring. I was not working. My baby won't come out. I was on a false labor twice. I had to keep myself busy so that this baby would come out. So I started this business in my bedroom. And the fact that I had to start somewhere, I had myself, my sister, and another nurse. But all they had in mind was, I had a huge pipeline of nurses because she is Filipino and she has Filipino nurses and she has Filipino caregivers everywhere. But the thing to keep in mind is we are only one body. You want to be able to provide a service.